Hello, friends. Welcome to the Fruitful Life Jamaica podcast. My name is Ade Brown, founder of Fruitful Life Jamaica. I am an associate counseling psychologist, and this Fruitful Life Jamaica is it's an online practice where I serve teenagers and their parents, their families, um, adults, couples through online counseling medium. And I am starting off this podcast venture. This is the first time jumping into this thing, right? So I'm not promising any very neat stuff here. Nope, I'm probably gonna make a couple mistakes on the way. Um, but I'm journeying, and Fruitful Life, the heart of Fruitful Life Jamaica is about the journey. So you'll hear me say when if you reach out to me for counseling, something like this, I would say, let's discover or let's uncover what's holding you back so that you can discover how you would like to move forward. And that's the same position I'm taking with the podcast. It's all about uncovering what may be holding you back so that you can discover. And me helping you do that uncovering so that then you can discover how to move forward. And one of the things that I have realized that hold people back in benefiting from therapy is, and this is doing this thing, counseling, not necessarily the online part, but counseling for about 7 years now. Still pretty young in the profession, but I've gained some experience and I want to share from that. And one of the things I realized is that people's understanding, at least in the Jamaican context, I can't really speak beyond Jamaica or in terms of the Caribbean. I don't know if it's the same issue. I assume that it is not such an issue in the North American space and the European space and so forth. But from my experience in Jamaica, one of the challenges is that how people understand what the purpose of counseling and therapy is, that can hold them back from benefiting from therapy in a meaningful way. And so I'm starting a series which I will do monthly because I can't commit to more than that, and no shame, is I'm doing the Let Therapy Work for You. And my goal is to help persons appreciate different aspects of therapy and counseling, what it is, what it is not, what you can expect, what might not be reasonable to expect from it, so that when you go into a session, whether with me through Fruitful Life Jamaica or through Family Life Ministries or through other counseling centers and online services that are available in Jamaica, you'll be able to have a better experience because you're going in with certain kinds of understanding. Now, I should hasten to say, right, that I am sharing from knowledge and my own perspective and opinion at the same time. And so ultimately, every person that watches this podcast is responsible to do their own research from, reputable sources, because there's things that are true and not true on the internet. It's a wonderful space, but not everything is helpful. So you have to wade through those waters. So I want to share that this is knowledge as well as perspective, and that in the profession there are different views on what therapy should and shouldn't be. Okay, so I am hoping to speak from a general space to give you a good enough idea for you to make an informed decision for yourself. Okay, so with that disclaimer out there, let's jump into this episode of Let Therapy Work for You, and I'm going to be looking at what is therapy. And when I use the term therapy, I'm speaking about counseling and psychotherapy, and counseling done by a trained mental health professional, usually as like a psychiatrist. Some psychiatrists are trained in counseling and psychotherapy, or a psychologist. There are different kinds of psychologists. There's a clinical psychologist. There's the counseling psychologist, there's the associate clinical psychologist, which is the person at the master's level, and there is the associate counseling psychologist like myself, which is also at the master's level. Okay, so we're talking about what exactly is therapy, right? And so I want to start off with what it is not. Now, here is it. In our context in Jamaica, generally, from what I have observed, when people come into counseling, and I think it has to do with our culture, we do have high regard for persons with expertise and authority generally. And we, for the most part, when we come to say a doctor, a lawyer, any of these kinds of persons in authority, we are prepared to take their knowledge and instruction and be guided by that. And so we're usually coming in with the question, what should I do? And then basically the desire is that we are here, you are the expert, I am the person come for help, and I want you to tell me what to do. Okay? And even sometimes when people are filling out forms, and I say, hey, the form will ask, what are you hoping to get out of this counseling process? And one of the things people will say is that advice, objective advice. They want advice. Tell me how I should be thinking about this. What should I be doing differently? Advice is wonderful. At its best, it is wonderful. When it is good advice, because not every advice is good. So advice is wonderful. Advice can really help people to make new decisions, better decisions, especially if you or I don't know what exactly we should be doing. And the truth is that people who have had certain knowledge, experience, are kind of ahead of us in the journey and can give us advice as a result, and so advice can be very helpful. Now, here's the thing with counseling, with therapy. Advice is not necessarily the focus of counseling and therapy, as helpful as it can be. And here's why. How this thing was originally designed to work is that the person who is doing the counseling or the therapy is basically saying, hey, I am here to listen to you, your needs, your concerns, your feelings, your thoughts. And I am here to provide understanding for what you are going through. So in other words, the counselor is here to be a sounding board. You can speak to me, I can say back to you what I am hearing. And you can then say, yes, that's what I'm saying, or that's not quite what I'm saying, or you got part of it, but there's the other part that you're not getting. And then you could clarify, and the counselor could then correct to see if they're on spot with you or on the same page with you. As my brother would like to say, the same page and the same paragraph on the page. So that's the heartbeat of the counseling. It's creating a space for understanding and to help you, the client, use your resources, your experiences, your knowledge to be able to work through whatever you're going through. Now, the therapist has some skills to do that, some listening skills, and then there's some therapy techniques that can assist. And so that's the expertise part of it. But ultimately, advice given is not the focus. So therapy is not, as I like to say, counseling and therapy is not the same thing as counsel and guidance. So I have something in schools called guidance counseling. So no, this is not guidance counseling. And even in guidance counseling, there is still the tools of listening and seeking to understand and help support the students in high school work through their issues. Because here's the thing with advice. Here's the challenge with advice. If I give you advice in therapy and you run with that advice, I have to take some responsibility for the advice I give you. So if it doesn't work out, I am responsible, right? But if I help you to work out what decision you think it is best. I give you options of things and you choose. I raise certain questions with you. Then you, as the client, can now say, okay, this is what I think would be helpful. I could try this, I could try that. And I support you as you make those decisions.